Welcome everybody. This is another Rise Minute podcast. I'm Paul Fitz and I've got with me today Joe Skowronski. He is running for the third vice chair in Wake GOP. Joe, thanks for being here today.
Okay.
And Joe, first of all, I just want to ask, why did you jump in the race at third vice chair? You were an at-large candidate earlier, but you stepped up to the plate. Talk to me about yourself and your motivation and drive for that.
Well, I got several years of experience as regional chair and House District Chair, 7 years. And so I have a lot to share with other people, and that's what I'm hoping to do. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to focus on working together with all the regional chairs. We will come up with a new process, a better process, and more efficient process to make us able to win elections for local candidates in the next year. And right now, my focus is really to be on people, and that's being the regional chairs. And I'm hoping that we're planning to win local elections in 2023 and statewide elections in 2024.
So Joe, you've been on the executive committee now for 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
And you've seen some decisions made by some of the higher ups, chair, vice chair, that affect the party in general. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like the executive committee have always been actively involved in these decisions, or do you feel like sometimes it was just a top-down approach?
Well, mostly they try to be involved with the decisions with budgets and who's coming on, who's leaving. But there are some things, in particular this convention, and we never reviewed, in all those 7 years, never reviewed these rules of convention at the executive committee level. And I think that was a missed opportunity.
Right.
And so I think
I think that goes back to, we always want to have a transparent organization. I mean, that's one thing that the Rise slate has talked about several times, transparency. And you feel like it translates to, hey, we need to talk about these things in all of our executive committee meetings if they're going to affect what we're doing with the convention, correct?
Absolutely. Of course, we got to look at time, because that's a factor at all. But yes, we need to be a lot more transparent at the executive meeting.
Have you spoken to other members of the executive committee who've stated the same thing, or?
No, this is the first time I actually am aware of it, because what's going on, people are looking at the rules of organization, and it's become very clear. I mean, even talking about bids for contractors, I never saw that ever. You've
never been briefed on bids for contractors for the Wake GOP in your 7 years on the executive board, or executive committee, excuse me. Yep. Do you feel like there have been some missed opportunities in Wake GOP in the past, and stuff that you've noticed as a region chair that you can say, hey, my experience tells me that we can deal with process X or process Y to make it a more fluid or a better situation for not just our regions but our precincts as well?
We have tremendously missed a lot of opportunities in both Wake GOP and also together in regions and in precincts. And what we need to do is focus in on the people, and that's what I'm going to do. Focus in on people, the regional chairs, come up with a new process together that will help us have the volunteers to staff future elections.
Do you feel like with these new processes we'll actually be able to bring on more candidates and be able to get our message out just a little bit better?
A lot more candidates, and if we win the local elections, guess what? We're probably going to win the statewide elections.
That's good news. It's good for everybody to hear, at least. Now, Joe, please tell me a little bit about yourself. What kind of skill set do you bring to the slate team that you want to instill your knowledge and your experience on Wake GOP?
Well, I have a lot of experience in working with a lot of these walking tools, the i360, Civi, a lot of different things that I can bring to the table. But I'm really going to focus in on the people process and work with the people, because I think by helping other people, we'll have a snowball effect to get a lot more new people into our GOP process.
Do you feel like building those relations will also be able to embolden volunteers and have more volunteers in the process?
Absolutely. We'll have an easier process for the regional chairs. We'll make it easier and simpler for them to be regional chairs, to be effective with their precincts, and the snowball.
That's awesome. Well, everybody, that's another Rise Minute. I'm here with Joe Skowronski today. Joe, thank you for everything that you do, and I appreciate you being on the Rise team. Thank you all for joining in today. We look forward to seeing you again.